Should the Bengals make a big trade before next month's deadline? The Chiefs are the latest team to make a move. The Bengals should be next. And the target, well, it's going to surprise you. Let's get into it right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Make sure you check out this week's episode of Enter the Jungle. It airs every single Tuesday at 8 Eastern right here on CBT and weekly on the FanDuel Sports Network. And let's dive into this trade deadline because the trade deadline is November 5th. It's a few weeks away. It's right after the Bengals play the Raiders. And we've seen it over the past week. We've seen DeAndre Hopkins get traded most recently, but Devontae Adams was traded. Amari Cooper was traded. And I've seen a lot of you say, all right, well, the Bengals are going to sit on their hands and not make a move. And that very well could be the case. But what moves should they make? If they were willing, if they were open to making moves, what should they make? And the move that they should make is going to surprise you because they should be the ones that are in on Cooper Kupp. They should be the ones that trade for Cooper Kupp. They should be the ones that are calling Sean McVay and trying to figure out the particulars of how to make the salary work and the draft compensation work to get the former Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, the guy that essentially single-handedly in that final possession of Super Bowl 56 found a way to lead the Rams to victory. They should get that guy. And I know what you're saying. He's always hurt. He's on the wrong side of 30. Oh, my goodness. You know what the Bengals acquiring Cooper Kupp would mean? It would be very similar to the Baltimore Ravens acquiring Derrick Henry, who they tried to trade for at the deadline last year. And the Titans owner said no, just for Derrick Henry to sign with them in free agency. It would be the Bengals acknowledging what they are and going all in on what they are. A pass first, we're going to air it out offense. That's what the Bengals are. And so getting Cooper Kupp to go with Tee Higgins and Jamar Chase, that is the type of play, much like the Ravens, where they said, you know what we need? This explosive, big star running back to go with Lamar Jackson. It's how our offense is built. We're a run first team, and he's going to make us better. Cooper Kupp would make the Bengals better because you can't double everyone. And he is a star still, not just okay, not just good, not just a serviceable player, a star still. And the workload would be pared down a little bit because you have Jamar and you have T. And so to me, from a football standpoint, it is very much the equivalent of what Baltimore did with Derrick Henry. It's acknowledging who you are as a team, acknowledging what your strengths are, and saying, you know what? Let's build around them. Lamar Jackson, you want to get an elite runner around him for the first time in his career. Meanwhile, the Bengals, it's like, all right, let's get 3 elite receivers around Joe Burrow. Would make sense to me. Would make a ton of sense football wise. You can move Cooper Kupp all around the field. He is versatile, much like a Jamar Chase, and the idea of having that trio makes a ton of sense. So one, let's go there. Two, football wise, it makes sense, right? Two, how do you make the money work? Well, the Bengals have over $9 million in cap space. The Rams are reportedly willing and open to eating some of that contract, paying some of that contract to help facilitate a deal. And so that would make sense. So it could work in season. And yes, Cooper Kupp is on the wrong side of 30. I get it. I'm pulling up his stats now. I have his contract in front of me, and I'm going to get to the contract part of it, the long-term elements in just a second. But you look at it and you're like, man, he's only played in 2 games this year. By the way, the one game he finished had 14 catches for 110 yards, by the way. But the past couple of years, since that 2021 season where he helped the Rams win the Super Bowl, he's dealt with injuries. And I get that. I totally do. At the same time, I look at 31-year-old Cooper Kupp and I say, does he have juice left? Does he have the impact that you need? Can he make the impact you need in the short term? And to me, the answer is yes. And if that answer is yes, and you have the cap space and you can make it work, why not make it work? I'll dive into the other part of this, the long-term part, as far as his contract is concerned, coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by Data Guru. You got to get to sportsdataguru.com right now because it is the place that is going to give you all of the data, all of the information you need before you wager on NFL games this season. So go to Sports Data Guru, sign up for their free newsletter, and let's say you're looking for detailed team and player stats, home and away splits, overview of weekly matchups, schedule breakdowns, injury reports, weather considerations, all of those things are in one spot with Data Guru. So you don't have to go to 8 different places to figure it out. And the overview of weekly matchups is huge because they're going to give you ideal scenarios, props, prop bets that could hit because of the matchups, because of the opponent, all of those things that vary weekly. You can get all of the information for a very, very low price of $24 for the entire season. You can get $3 off right now as well. All you have to do is use promo code Bengals Talk at sportsdataguru.com, and they have a 30-day money back guarantee. So get half off your first month if you just want to go month to month, and boom, use promo code Bengals Talk right now at sportsdataguru.com. When you say it out loud, the Bengals should trade for Cooper Kupp. I get it. People are like, "Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness." And I've workshopped this really over the past 24 hours. And the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Leaning into a strength, saying, all right, this is what we are. We're going to be that, and we don't care who knows it. And I get it. The Bengals don't make these kind of trades. But to me, I look at Cooper Kupp's contract, and his base salary this year is reasonable. His cap hit is under 30 million this year, has 2 years left on his deal after this season. And so coming to a winning team like the Bengals, maybe you restructure that deal and add a year maybe into 2027, and he can be the guy alongside Jamar Chase for the next few years where he complements Jamar. Who knows? Maybe you trade for him and the Rams are paying part of that money and then you get out of it this offseason. I think that you would restructure. I think you would make him a long-term piece. I also think Cooper Kupp would make a ton of sense in this offense. You're talking about a Zach Taylor offense that loves to say, all right, Tee Higgins, go win this one-on-one matchup. All right, Jamar Chase, you're a one-on-one, go win this matchup. Cooper Kupp is still capable of doing that. Cooper Kupp is set to play on Thursday night. He is going to get doubled a lot. When he's not doubled, you know what happens? Matthew Stafford throws him the ball. So from an offensive perspective, it makes sense. A contract perspective, I think they could make it work, especially because he has multiple years left on his deal. They could find a middle ground where they probably lower the cap hit in the future, but also make sure that Kupp is taken care of. And so to me, this makes a ton of sense as far as what it would cost from a trade compensation standpoint. There's a report out there. I think Diana Rossini, who's been all over this for The Athletic, said a second round pick is the Rams ask. I bet you can get him for a third round pick and still get the Rams to eat some of that salary. So it would make a ton of sense to me. And I think it makes a ton of sense football wise. And I think from a front office perspective and a money perspective, it can make sense. The Bengals, even if the Rams didn't need any money, have the cap space to make it work. The Rams would, of course, to get a higher pick. Otherwise, you're getting a really low pick for Cooper Kupp. I would think similar to the DeAndre Hopkins, fifth rounder almost, if you don't need any of that money. I think they would. You give them maybe a fourth rounder, third rounder. I think it gets done. If the Rams are offered that, I do think that they trade Cooper Kupp. It's what I would do. And everyone's talking about defense and defensive line and this and that. Acknowledge what you are. A pass first, high volume, throw the ball all over the field offense. And if that's what you are, why not go get an elite pass catcher that is available, that you've seen firsthand what he can do, and he would be your number 3? Good luck. Good luck to opposing defenses, including the Browns, who always have the Bengals number, right? They wouldn't have the Bengals number anymore. Not with those 3 guys, because one guy would always be in single coverage and one guy essentially on every play would always be open. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Let me know what you think of this deal in the comments. And let's just say the proposal would be a third round pick. Rams eat some of the money for Cooper Kupp. I know the Bengals probably not on the same wavelength as me, but honestly, it makes a ton of sense and they should get it done before that November 5th trade deadline. For Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. As always, thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals talk.